Alright, time to do a quick demonstration of how to use the character creation tool at this website. Do I actually know what all of this stuff does? No, I'm not actually sure what these links on the left for. Anyway, talents overview. This is a database of the various talents that each of the races has as unique options. Some of them are, well, unique to certain races, but it's a long list, so I'm not going to look at all of it. Alright, so I'm going to make a character. I'm going to click select all because, quite frankly, I don't actually know what all of these do. And more options is good, probably. T and G because, again, more options, and I believe that's most likely what I'm actually going to be using the character for. Alright, I'm not doing a supporting character. I'm going to be doing a player character, so I'm going to go with personnel. Role. These are for if you want to randomly choose your race, which I'm not. Mixed. This is some sort of racial hybrid thing. I'm not sure exactly what makes it different from a regular race. I think it kind of sort of gives you more options, but I'm not sure if there's a downside to it. Don't really understand what makes these two different. I've tried both of them. I don't know. Alright, so I am going to go with Romulan. Note how some of these have different amounts of things in categories. These actually just add to your options. If you only have 3 things here, you just get points in all 3 of those. But if you have more than 3 things, you choose 3 of those things to put a point into, and only those 3 things. These are things that replace standard traits, or talents, I guess is the word uses for it. Anyways, I'm making a Romulan, so scroll down. Note how this is a blank. I kind of suspect that the ones with the blank are ones that are meant to be enemies, but I'm really not sure. Because, quite frankly, the Sona definitely go in the enemy category, and they have stuff here, so I don't know. Anyway, so I got 1 point each to control, fitness, and reason, which is good. Trait, Romulan. Okay. Don't actually know what that does. Sounds like something that makes it more complicated. Alright, so for the thing that I did earlier, I decided that for my first one, I want to have personal effects. Why? Well, the character carries around a sword because, Romulan, and just something that she picked up. And okay, again, select or roll. You can choose to do it randomly if you want to, but you don't need to do it randomly. I decided to go with an isolated colony because the character in question is, well, it's a mining colony that doesn't really have a whole lot of contact with the outside and is, mostly just doing mining. Now, this is much like the thing previously where you get 3 points put into the stuff here. However, since there's only 2 things, you get 2 points to one of them and 1 point to the other. And this, again, this just gives you options to pick from. You don't actually get all of it. It doesn't give you 3 things for having 3 options. I think it's just only 1, no matter what. Yeah, see, discipline, select 1. So I get to add a point to one of these 2. I decided to go with insight, I think. Yeah. I decided to call it insight. Now I'm going to go with science because it's a character who heavily focused on science stuff. Value. Knowledge is power. because, Romulan, especially a Romulan with science related upbringing, definitely has some ideas about what you'd use information for. Now, because it's a mining colony, I started to think that business/trade would be the thing that you would get most points for. Now, accept or rebel. This is a matter of whether or not that was your upbringing and you liked it, or if you decided you didn't like it. I'm going with accept because she liked growing up as a miner, and the reason why she left it is not actually her own choice. I'm going with engineering for this one because, well, as a miner, you have to use a lot of equipment. And let's see here, scroll down, technical expertise. Focus. I actually don't remember what I put in here. Let's see here. It should be the first thing that comes with focus. Oh, geochemical analysis. Yeah, I'm actually recreating this because I went through the process thinking about everything and doing it rather slowly. So this time I just, I'm going through and just redoing everything. And I forgot to write down that one particular step. Okay, anyways. So for this one, you can do random rolls or not. And you can choose to be an enlisted character or an officer. I'm going to go with an officer, although a low-ranking one. But anyway. So, an officer who has a research internship. So, here we have fitness, insight, and reason are the ones that shows for this. And it automatically puts in points in these. Now, 3 focuses. This is one of those things where, in theory, you don't actually need to choose from this list, although, to make it simple, I did. Physics, geology, and computers. Yeah, computers is just like, she uses electronic equipment as part of mining survey work. And, geology is, surveying to find places to mine minerals. And physics, kind of related to mining stuff. All right. Trait, orbital survey improvement. The idea I had is that, she came up with some way to, in some way improve the ability to use ship sensors to find useful minerals buried deep underground. Okay. And I decided to go with the testing a theory one, which is all the way at the bottom. Now, what all of these do, a lot of these are things that I would choose it based solely on whether it's thematically appropriate. Although some of them seem risky, although maybe being risky makes sense for your character. I'm not entirely sure exactly if these have effects on the attributes, like security or engineering. Does it? I don't know. I'm just going through this and trying to do it right. Oh yeah, also, you can actually get multiple ranks of these. I chose to do different ones each time, but you could, in theory, choose the same one multiple times. Like personal effects here, rank 2. I mean, it gives you a more potent version of that. Although, looking at the options for things that are in personal effects, I'm genuinely not sure why you would want to have 2 ranks of personal effects. Okay, so for this one, I decided to go with friends are useful. I mean, it's a summary of the fact that she learned that, having friends help you with stuff is better than not having people helping you with stuff. Well, to put it simply, anyways. Alright, select career or randomly roll. I decided to go with young officer because someone who went to academy at a young age and hasn't been out of academy long. Which gives you this untapped potential thing, which makes it so that certain of your stats don't go above 4, or attributes go above 11, which is fine. You have the same number of points, just spread out a little more. Value. What value did I put in here? Romulan refugee. Okay, this is basically someone who is not raised in a Federation space. Someone who is raised in a Romulan mining colony and thus doesn't really fully understand Federation stuff. Okay, career event. Conflict with a hostile culture. I mentioned earlier that she didn't leave the colony by choice, and this is due to the Hobus disaster causing a Romulan civil war. So she ended up getting displaced, and that's the reason why she ended up with Starfleet, is because the Civil War forced her to leave Romulan space. And thus the idea here is that loyalty isn't really part of your race. Are these things that actually make sense? I'm genuinely not sure. Kind of curious to someone who has more experience with this thinks about it, but we'll see. And another career event. Ship destroyed. Because, Romulan Civil War, one of the ships she was on got blown up. But she managed to avoid getting killed in the process. Okay, so I decided to go with quick course plotting for this, even though she's not someone who actually has a lot of stuff for con stuff, but a little bit, I guess. Because, for the character having the ship get destroyed, there's not really a whole lot of things I could think of that actually made sense. Alright, now, we didn't have to put in some of these. I think, insight and reason. Because, again, she's kind of sort of one of those work smarter, not harder people, but she's also someone who... Oh, yeah, that's another thing, is that for this, whenever it has you click the things to put stuff in, you can only put in 1. I can't put in 2. So, I guess I'll put this into security. Oh yeah. Reunification is good, actually. Yeah. TNG made a big deal of the whole, Romulan reunification movement. Granted, not in very many episodes, but it was kind of sort of the focus of a few episodes. And it's one of those things that the Romulan people as a whole didn't embrace it. However, there were several Romulans who did. And whether or not that became popular thinking, well, hey, the approach I'm going with here is that in this timeline, the Hobus disaster caused certain Romulans to reconsider whether they wanted to remain apart from their Vulcan brothers. Okay, so type in the name. The actual source of this was just me clicking random in the Star Trek Online character name generator. Why it immediately fills in intelligence officer, I have no idea, but it did. Whatever, I'm changing it to science officer. And let's see, scroll down. Oh, yeah, it automatically fills in. This is just a copy of the stuff that it did, or that I typed in previously. I'm not entirely sure if these make sense, but whatever. It's what I put in. Yes. Oh, yeah, for this one, it's like, I already did this once, so creating a second PDF was kind of unnecessary, but hey, whatever. Here is the full version of what I filled out last time, which actually is slightly different because I think I did some of the focuses in a different order. Yeah, it's like quick course plotting and loyalty isn't your race are different order. Also, I rephrased that one slightly. Anyways, yeah. Traits, Romulan. Yeah, it actually puts in your species as a trait. I don't understand the logic behind that, but it does. I guess you get a trait because of your species. Anyway. Oh, this apparently gives me 10 stress bubbles before I become incapacitated. That's useful. Oh, also, the personal equipment thing that affects talent here, that's actually not part of this. Something you would have to fill in manually because it doesn't actually give you any submenu in that process to fill that out. So I would put in a sword and I guess a dagger because the sword the personal effects thing gives you 2 points for item choices. The sword that I had as the primary focus is actually just 1 point, so I have a second point for something else, which I guess could be a dagger or a second energy weapon or something. I don't know. Part of me wanted to have like a mining laser, but I would have to custom create one, I think. Alrighty then. Well, I guess that's it for this character creation process. That's all for now.